Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's Top Club. I'm doing this here on a Monday morning and looking out the window to see the little bit of snowflakes coming down. And the reason why, once again, you are at home today, but at least you're home and safe and dry and able to get ready to face the challenges of another week. And today I was going to talk about something totally different, but what inspired this week's lesson was what my 9-year-old said, quite surprisingly to me this weekend. Is there, you know what? I kind of think I should stay back. What? Yeah, I don't think I'm learning enough. I don't think I'm doing as well as I could be. Now, he's getting all A's and maybe one B every now and then. So I was saying, no, you're doing perfectly fine. I mean, I see what you do for your homework and that, and you're fine. But for some reason, he didn't feel like maybe he was being challenged enough, or because he didn't have other people around him all the time, he didn't understand how well or not how well he was doing, or maybe he's just slipped into a kind of what the French would say, blasé. You gotta love the French. They come up with these cool words like blasé, and or if you're being a little bit too sophisticated, you're outré. If you know how to speak it, you can really impress people. But the blaséness, maybe the feeling that no matter what we try or what we're going to do, really, what purpose does it have in the long run? Seeing there's no really, uh, while there's a light at the end of the tunnels with what we're going through right now, the tunnel seems awful long to get through, and it could be a while yet. So I want to give a little bit of encouragement here to you today about how to achieve even more than maybe you could achieve in a time when maybe you don't think you can achieve at all. I got a picture of Florence, Italy behind me this morning. Talk about a place that achieved. I mean, this place made all kinds of really great buildings and works of art and other things that have become world famous. And we'll talk about that here in a minute when I zap on this week's PowerPoint. And hopefully I can zap without it being zonked. Boom. There we go. We just fix it up so it looks cool, maybe. There we go. All right. What do we have here? Mr. Blase himself, um, from your earlier years, and that you know him as Eeyore, the ultimate pessimist, fatalist. If the sky was going to fall down, it would already hit him. And you have to ask yourself, is this what you're feeling like? I think that's what my 9-year-old was feeling like, Mr. Eeyore himself. Uh, and I think lots of us feel that way, not just you guys in school, but parents and everybody else. Like, is there ever going to be any reason to do stuff? I mean, as opposed to figure out bounce. Look at me, I'm bouncing. I'm bouncing. Oh, when my kid used to watch that, I want to just take a machine gun to the TV set. I got so tired of the bouncing Tigger. In a way, there's sort of a manic kind of energy. Nothing would stop him. Sort of an extreme of an Eeyore, but you know, uh, almost always Tigger is up and going and ready for challenges. So should that be what we are? Should we be up and ready for going in challenges? Let's see some historical stuff here. I love history, as you know. Oh, here, this is the reason why we have Italy on the front screen. It's a group of people called the Medici, with one really grumpy guy in there and his two of his famous sons. And who are these Medici people? The Medici people were bankers in the city that was behind my head when you were seeing it, Florence, Italy. There was no big cathedral or nothing back then. And the city was kind of a free city made up of sort of wealthy families. Now, the Medici wasn't really even that terribly much of a wealthy family, but then the Great Plague hit. So we can see today about how things change sometimes with the Great Plague, don't they? The Medici decided instead of running away into the countryside like a lot of their rich competitors, they stayed in the middle of Florence and continued banking, serving the needs of the people so that their face was everywhere and their good deeds were everywhere and their helping was everywhere, despite the fact that 70% of the city died from the plague. 70%. These people hung in there. What happened after the plague was gone? Everybody went to the Medici for money, borrowing money. Not only in Italy, but the reputation went to France and Spain and pretty much all of Western Europe. They became the bank of Europe. Even the Vatican borrowed money from the Medici back then, and it was because they had a goal in mind to stick through it thick and thin, to make the best they could out of a bad situation and make it better. And guys, maybe we should be thinking that way too, huh? Like the Medici. I mean, maybe we don't think we're getting as much out of school as we could. Maybe our A's and B's don't really feel as much like they usually do. But maybe we can go beyond just the A's and the B's and do extra stuff. Strive for more. I mean, more AR books, more this, more that, more independent learning, more delving into things, more being the ones who will get through this period, overcoming blase with a little bit of Tigger bounce and turning out with a whole lot of outre. Same thing happened. Where's my? Whoa, too fast. In England. Oh man, there was another plague, 1600s in England. Lots of people getting wiped out. Well, what happened is in the countryside where a lot of the rich people had these big homes, millions of acres of land and all that kind of stuff, when they were getting into serious trouble during the plague and losing people in that, very clever people who lived in their lands decided that they were going to take the money that they had saved and buy off portions of the estates of these wealthy people and create their own little estates. So someone who was just a tenant servant prior to the Great Plague becomes a landowner after it because they were clever enough to figure a way to make the best of a bad situation. So any kind of a pandemic, any kind of a mass disorder like this brings a great deal of opportunities for people who keep frosty, smart, sharp, energetic, mindful. All you have to do is find your way, like he did. The year is 1917 and 1918. Everybody know who this is? You probably more used to seeing him in an ancient version, but this is Walt Disney. Yes, sir, Walt Disney. Yes, ma'am, Walt Disney. Walt Disney, who was an ambulance driver in World War I. Walt Disney, who contracted the great pandemic flu virus of 1918. Severely ill. Now, most people who got it back then didn't make it, but Walt Disney made it through, and because of his experience with the 1918 plague, actually drove him into the world of animation and creating characters that would bring hope and laughter and joy to people who were also going through, hard times in their lives. So being sick with a horrible disease in 1918 actually helped Walt Disney spearhead himself to greatness, and it helps the lives of so many people, and help drive parents absolutely crazy when their children keep watching reruns of Bunked over and over and over and over and over again. Yes, parents understand these things. The Walt Disney syndrome of repetition of shows. Well, thank you, Walt. All right. Anybody else make it good? Well, holy macaroni. 2 United States presidents, Woodrow Wilson and Roosevelt. Big name presidents. Woodrow Wilson had the plague, well, we'll call it the plague or the disease in 1918, directly at the time when he was in France negotiating the treaty to end World War I. The man was deathly sick, and he was before world leaders trying to make an equitable peace after World War I and start the League of Nations. And he just told everybody he had a cold. But his goal was more important than being sick, or his vision went beyond the catastrophic events that were taking place. And the same with President Roosevelt. The man was very sick, but it didn't stop his ability to climb. In fact, he shared more with the masses by having been ill. Became the only president to be elected to 3 terms of office. So, our times of plagues and disasters, really, all that, there are terrible, but they provide sometimes a great spark to get things heading in the right direction. One more. Oh, Lord have mercy. Edward Munch, a European dude who got the 1917 pandemic and flew and almost died. Known for this very famous painting that I'm sure almost all of you have seen, called The Scream. I think that's what it is. But now that you know that it was painted by someone who was going through the great flu of 1918, probably the true caption for this picture should be, "Oh no, I forgot to buy my Tylenol." Sorry. All right. Famous people overcoming, famous people becoming even more famous. So what do we have here? Resolve. You wake up in the morning, instead of ER trying to put your head underneath the covers and stay there, you have resolve to get moving, to get doing, to meet new challenges, to maybe go one step beyond, to get up in front of that at-home computer screen and say, this is not just another lesson. This is a chance to build something, and to build something beyond. Determination. Yeah, I am determined to make something of myself, regardless of the situations around me. I'm not going to let a virus get in my way. No, sorry, I'm going to push on, so that when this is all over and done with, I can be a Walt Disney or whatever I want to be. And then the dedication to resolve, to achievement is key. You have to remain dedicated. I mean, think of the things we're dedicated to. Oh man, I got to watch my favorite show. It's coming on Friday at 8:00. It's a new series. I got to watch it. All life stands still. And then you get in front of the TV set for that half an hour show. And when you watch the show, you met your goal. You set that goal to be in front of that TV set at 7 o'clock on Saturday night or whatever it is to watch that show. Well, how about some other kinds of goals? Um, I'm going to do 10 more AAR books than I did last year. I'm going to make sure that I'm way doing all my lessons and learning more than ever, so that when I do get back to school, for real back to school, I'm going to be really so far ahead of everything that it's not funny. I'm going to be the one the other kids might ask to help with their work. I'm going to make something for myself. I mean, it's a great time to do it. It's a great time to get motivated. It's a great time to take charge of your life and get through this. So you could be like the people who made these great monuments here. It was the Medici who financed the actual construction of the Duomo, or the big church that you see behind me in Florence, praised as one of the most fabulous pieces of architecture in the world. Or the Acropolis in Athens by Pericles, when they had a great illness going on, motivated to make their city one that the entire world would wonder at, not only now, but in ages to come. So we can make our own lives something that other people will get inspired from and think about doing great things from. So it's hard to kind of pick a lesson for you or something for you guys to do this week, because it's kind of a topic that is in a way overwhelming in a sense. But what are some of the things that you think that you could aspire to do, to achieve, that might set you apart, might set you in a trajectory to becoming a person who is très instead of blasé? So you might want to jot that down and let me see it. And I have to apologize for being a little bit blasé. No, actually, I had a very extremely busy week, so I haven't got to read your comments about saying no yet. And I plan to do that later on today or tomorrow when I have a little bit of a break. And I promise you I'm going to enjoy them. I know I will. So, but if you can think of some of the things that will going to make you, feel important and achieve, and some of the goals you might set, share them with me. I'd really like to see that. And until then and all that, I hope this week goes well for you. And if you do have a favorite show that starts at 7 o'clock on Saturday night, I hope you get to see it. And till then, I want you to take care of yourselves. It's always the highlight of my week to come on here and talk to my guys in Top Club. Take good care of yourselves.